Good.
Okay, 6:32, I call the regular meeting of the East Windsor Building Commission to order. May 22nd, 2023. We are at the Town Hall John Dilly Meeting Room, and we also are joined via Zoom. Attendance, we have 5 regular members, and we have a new commission member, Mike Pillion.
Hello.
Thank you for volunteering. Approval of minutes. Then we have the edits, corrections, typos. You guys, I have my desk. She's right there.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from April 24th, 2023.
Motion made by Heather, is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second it. I really wish I could get them before the meeting.
So they were supposed to be emailed.
Yeah,
So
I don't
everybody-
email.
Oh,
She called and packets were available. It's gonna be like building committee for you people that don't email. Yeah, that's it.
I got them all. These weren't ready.
any discussion? Call for a vote, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I'll abstain. I wasn't here last month.
1 abstention by Mike. Motion passes. Okay. Unfinished business discussion of school project to include Joe Sauerhopper. Floor is yours.
Okay, well, we're pretty much,
Didn't do the pledge. I believe it's supposed to be a pledge on there. Somebody screwed it up. Well, sorry, now. Sorry, Joe.
that's okay.
Forget.
So we're gonna talk about the HVAC and the roof projects. Because we have no other school projects. Right?
So. Okay, the updated town project, well,
Is there asterisk there?
yes, I'm both.
So there's nothing to talk about. On the bottom, there's a disclaimer that said,
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's skip down a new business discussion, bid results for master planning services, roof design and HVAC design services, and board recommendations to the board of selectmen.
so, as you guys got, there were 4 companies that bid it. Myself and independently, myself and, CSG, our consultant. We independently called references and both came up with the same result, with, Hubbard and Rose. With their master plan being a quarter of what everybody else is, and they're not doing it in-house. They're actually subbing it out, so. We pretty much eliminated them. Then actually technically, Russell and Dow was second. But again, with Russell and Dow, they really don't have the experience with the master plan. What is it? It's QAM Architects, which we got great reviews from both, but technically, and I talked to the superintendent. If he joins this, it's, what is it? It's NESDEC. It's some sort of data collection. I'm not quite sure. He heard about it. He was gonna look into it. He recalls seeing some emails where it's very minimal amount of money. And if we can save the 15,000, he said he would be more than happy to sign up for it. And so he's working on that end. So technically that moves QAM into being the lowest bidder. And how I feel and reading their proposal and everything and calling a few of their references, they have the experience with the HVAC. They know what we need and they know that we're under the gun to get it done because the grant could come out at any time. So that being said, and Juliana, or I'm sorry, CSG also agreed. They emailed me on Friday. It was 3:45. I didn't feel the need to email it out to y'all. I just made a copy. It's a very short email. They came up with the same conclusion. So I guess I'm in front of you. I can answer any questions if you have about the company, well, I can try. The only thing I'd ask is if you guys agree with me to make a motion. And I'll move it to the next step to the Board of Selectmen and give them a presentation and forward them the information.
Does anybody have any questions starting? Then on the table? Wayne?
Is there anything we should know about this, about removing special materials such as asbestos or anything?
We'll do testing and that will come up in the in the plan. So what we'll do is the architect's gonna come in, do some testing. Top priority for us is the roof. For us, it's
Yeah.
on the town side,
Yeah.
is to get the roof done,
Right.
the high school roofs. Because they're willing to bond it, they're willing to pave it, or the town is willing to go for it on the high school.
Do they have to take anything off or any?
No, the roof was done in maybe the early nineties. So chances of any asbestos being there, very minimal,
Yeah.
because the roof's already been done. We're basically doing the same work.
What about drainage? Do they have to redo any drains up there?
There'll probably be some roof scuppers they'll have to do. A lot of the they don't call it the business wing anymore. They did when the newer part, as you're driving around, that's all steel and it runs. You know, it runs, yeah, there's no gutters, there's no, nobody believes in gutters anymore. Don't get it, but.
Yeah.
So, but that'll all get done. When the architect starts, because if they think there's a problem, they'll do some coring and then patching.
Probably I have an outlay of all this.
Yeah.
You know, you can go up and really scrutinize it. and
Mhm.
find
Yeah,
out.
And design it and then what, give us two options, whether we can do steel on a lot of the sloped roof and then we're done. Because even that section where it's a science wing now, but in the back of the school, it's all steel anyways. So maybe we don't have to redo that, maybe we can coat it, they'll do all that. And then with the HVAC, they're gonna do preliminary assessments of all the schools. And then go from there to get us, if it comes out, we'll be able to get in the running, because we'll already have started it, and then we'll go farther down the road with the engineering with that,
Right.
so, we're kind of holding them back a little to get the two roofs done.
So these guys you're familiar with, they've done other.
I've never worked with them, but, they've done other schools, they've done the HVAC program.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, so Yeah, that's, and all the references were stellar. Yeah, all the references were stellar.
Yep.
And like I say, our consultant said go with them too.
Okay.
And, and they work with, Russell and Dower, Dawson. And they work with them, actually, they're in the building next door to them, the consultant, and they felt. I was pretty adamant, I wanted it all done by one company. Because to have, we could have had Hubbard and Rose, who did a great job on the roof for us to do the roofs, and then it just too much. It'll be one proposal, and the money's right there. I mean, even if we don't get the $15,000, it's a $6,000 difference. And ultimately, we don't care about the money. We're gonna tell the Board of Selectmen this is who we recommend, and
Right.
if they want to go cheaper, which they're pretty consistent. They've been doing pretty well with not going with number one, the cheapest person.
Good. Now, the air conditioning systems, is that gonna encompass the total schools?
It'll encompass all the areas that don't have air. Because like across the street, there's a lot of, all the whole modulars have rooftops. A lot of the individual classrooms that have those heat pump systems, like some of the offices and
Cafeteria?
cafeteria over here has air conditioning. The cafeteria at the middle school has air, the gymnasium or the auditorium has air. That's about it over at the middle school. The high school has a lot of sections.
Pockets, same thing.
Yeah. Like the big auditoriums, air conditioned. I think they're pulling off that to do all the administration offices in the front.
Joe, do they do the cafeteria, the food section also?
Yes, in this one it is.
That they will.
Yeah,
Just like you say, it's spotted now. a little
Yeah.
bit.
So they're gonna encompass everything.
Yeah,
How does-
they'll do an audit of the whole building. And then come up with the best
So they're gonna
solution.
pick up the old stuff, whatever's there, and start replacing with new units.
Yeah, well, they'll give us their best, because we don't know the age of some, I mean. We know the age of the stuff across the street, it was put in 2015, But-
The other stuff.
the high school, Yeah. so that's what I like about doing the master plan, because. Once the master plan's done, they'll give this board a whole assessment of what is wrong in them schools.
Yeah, I saw that
So,
tool thing.
right, and plus we need it for the availability of the money for the HVAC grants.
Yeah, that's the key.
Good.
Speaking
So-
of that, when they do that survey, will they be able to provide us with availability of some of the product, especially nowadays when so many of the industrial equipment out there being long lead times?
Yeah, well, they'll,
Issues, if we have something that's out 12 to 18 months.
yeah, we'll request that anyways, but, you know, when they put the bid package out, we'll just say, they'll say, Frigidaire or equivalent, you know, Frigidaire model 770 or equivalent to, and then that's when we can ask the question, well,
Okay.
equivalent to means what, you know? So.
Okay.
But materials seem to be
Getting better.
a lot better, yeah. Yeah.
Better.
Supply chain.
They're running out of that COVID excuse because
Yeah.
COVID's gone.
When you do a project like this, like the air conditioning systems, do you traditionally get a spare parts with it? Do you put some spare parts just to have on hand in general?
No, we traditionally will go with the longer warranties on the products.
Oh, okay.
So if it's X amount of dollars to go with the 10-year warranty,
So
then
that's your spare
we'll make
parts.
that a, yeah.
Okay.
The state, they won't pay for extras.
No.
So then we'll have to pay for it out of our end.
Like-
And right now, we're looking at like a 60, maybe a 60 or 59 or 60%. It might be even better of a reimbursement.
Good.
Yeah,
Oh,
so, but we have to front the whole project. So if it's the roof's $4 million, we have to show we have $4 million.
worth it.
Yeah,
Okay. Then we can-
no, they won't even let us do like worth of assets, or we have it in our, they will literally make us take it out of the fund balance, put it into account and prove that it will stay there and we're not allowed to touch it.
One way or the other, you gotta cover it. So
Right.
That's good.
Yeah,
Dick, you have any questions?
I just, you know, it's hard not to go for the lowest bidder, but Joe did.
well, technically, it will be the lowest bidder once the school signs up for that. No,
Well,
If they get the kind of like.
the way I did math, I'm gonna go to East Windsor, but it's quite a difference.
I think the
That's only 15
75
grand.
is inclusive of the grant.
It's quite a difference. Oh, yeah, I guess, okay. I mean, you know, my reputation as a cheapskate. You know, I don't want to start renting the board of select and they spend extra money.
We all know how the game is played here. You
Yeah.
know, you start with a low bid and then you just hit them on the extra.
I think you're, oh, yeah, isn't that all? And it sounds to me like you are correct. That number was way out.
Yeah.
and
You know, like,
If it was a little bit less, you would say, hey. But then they were hired on some of the other stuff.
one of the advantages are with the HVAC grant is they've already done it, so there won't be a learning curve. So there won't be, oh, I didn't know you needed that, so now we're gonna have to wait for the next round. And then the next round is coming out maybe August, September. So, but it's only a matter of us proving and showing we're progressively getting there to be able to, we don't have to have the plans in hand. So there's a lot of stipulations to the grant, and I haven't read through it thoroughly because, you know,
Probably stay up all night for a couple of weeks to read
Hmm.
all that. Right? I find nothing wrong with a resume. You
no.
said you checked some references.
Mhm.
They sort of look too big, they want so.
And-
Yeah,
And-
that I don't like. I agree with him completely.
How do you control it?
You don't. And then you know what happens? Oh, it's his fault. Oh, it's his fault. Oh, it's his fault.
And that.
Yeah, I've been there.
Money.
And you've worked with CGS.
Yeah.
With Jim Giuliano. I mean, personally, he was before he
Yeah.
got bigger.
Really good.
So, and they would not, I mean, we've done quite a few jobs with them. They've used us as reference for other jobs. They actually did the elementary school in
Yeah, I see
Enfield.
You were as a reference on one of these.
So,
Heather?
I came up with the same thing, Joe. I went through the whole thing and same exact reasons that when you're that low, there's something.
There's
you need to
something.
admit.
yeah, and I'll tell you that
Something else.
they're a great company. They were great. He was a great architect. We had a couple issues. He was here, he picked the phone up. He was, and they were great to work with, and I was hoping they'd get the roof, but with not having the experience and going into this HVAC, because this, we don't want to lose the opportunity if we can get a substantial amount of money.
No, I agree with what you came up with.
Perfect.
Can I ask a question?
You haven't made a motion yet, so technically.
Go ahead. I'll say your name for record, please.
Noreen Farmer, 247 Water Street. I'm actually on the Board of Education, so it's a concern to us. What's the timeline on this, Joe? How long is it gonna take to get this study done?
Not sure until we hire the architect and ask them directly.
We don't have an estimate.
No, we just put a proposal out or an RFQ, a request for qualifications, so we won't know until we sit down with them and vet them and say, okay, well, number one priority is the high school roof. And then from there to work on the grant application and what we need to qualify for the grant. But timeline, I'm not even I'm gonna tell you, it's 3 months for the design of the roof. But, and we're trying to get all our ducks in a row, so we get it out to bid in January. And we get it starting July 1st in school, because we can't work on the schools during the kids. It gives us a very small window.
But to rush it's no good either. You want
No,
it done and done right.
right. The elementary
Throw the
school,
money away.
the elementary school is just, it's to be able to have those plans and put them on the shelf. And then 2 or 3 years down the road,
Same with H.
Then the HVAC is to get what we need to apply for the grant money. So that's basically what it is. And then proceed with the engineering if we feel that we want to proceed with it, or just, okay, let's wait till we get the grant results and then go from there. And that way there, we're not spending money on air conditioning or design and.
So going forward, the reason Joe's here, he needs a motion. So Joe can present our findings that QA&M architecture is going to be our low bidder, or our bidder. Our
Recommended.
recommended contractor for this project.
Make a motion that we recommend the QA and architect study to.
The Board of Selectmen.
To the board. of Selectmen.
Motion is made by Heather. Is there a second? Second. Second, who seconded that? Sorry.
Wayne did.
Oh, Wayne.
He beat me.
Second by Wayne. Any discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Joe, as
Thank
soon as
you.
you get the timeline,
As soon as what?
as soon as you do get the timeline.
Yeah, well, you guys, what we'll do now is we'll hire
Yep.
we'll go to the Board of Selectmen in another week and a half. They'll approve it, authorize Jason to sign the contract with them. We'll get them to sign the contract, and then we'll get go, We'll reach out to them, find out what their time, and then we'll ask them to come to the board if they need to, but at that point, it'll just be, okay, start working. We expect results, and then, we'll just stay on top of them because, and they all know anyways, and they're all working diligently, whatever, to get it. So
So next on the agenda is financial. If there's any financials. Topics from the floor. I'm gonna put this, you guys all received sexual harassment. packet that you guys need to read and girls, gals, need to read and sign.
Am I signing this once?
If you already signed it once,
I haven't signed it
Yeah.
yet.
yeah, once covers you for CIP and whatever other books you're on.
For how many years?
Did you sign the?
I signed one a long time ago.
They didn't get the overhead bus.
Got my,
Oh,
I got my. Stephanie.
The old version?
okay.
We did an employee one and then they changed it a couple of weeks ago to include the boards, so then
Received.
all the employees had to re-sign it and reread it.
I've already signed mine already. Okay, so that being said, you have a little bit of homework. Public participation, is there anybody who want to talk about anything that's not on the agenda?
One other quick note, and I don't think you guys really want to be involved because it's technically not a building, but with the ARPA money they've been trying to spend down, they're allocating architect and engineer money to redo the track at the high school. So, not sure if this board cares.
How bad is the track? I think it was that bad.
Oh, the roofs are going through it down in behind,
Is it? Oh, okay.
That was replaced a long time ago.
yeah.
Back in my day, the track wasn't there,
So-
so someplace was there.
And
With the tobacco.
I did find out from Jim, that he just finished doing a track for another town and the state is offering 50% reimbursement
Oh,
on it.
that's pretty good.
So,
I have a
But-
question on that, because it did come up at our Board of Ed meeting.
mhm,
So why, I guess, why would that be inclusive in this?
because it wasn't a thought in this, so
I just got the
Um,
impression it was like a general,
if it goes to town meeting and then it's approved, I'm going to ask the Board of Selectmen to keep CSG on as the consultant to help with the RFP, and then we'll go from there.
and we can't just dovetail it
No,
into this.
not unless somebody, somebody said, you would think, and they're familiar with the reimbursement stuff. We've vetted them already. It's totally up to them,
I'm
but
just thinking, if there's still money left in this, for them to be able to include the track.
no, as far as money, as far
Well,
as,
just think- And.
well,
and
if you look at,
incorporate with the-
well, if you look at the money doesn't include the engineering for the HVAC. It only includes the preliminaries.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, and so that's why if we went and did the whole project, number one, it would be overwhelming to the architects. They may not have bid it. That's the recommendation of them. And number two is, if the grant money disappears or whatever, we're not sitting on plans for HVAC for all the schools. So,
Okay,
Hey, Joe, well, how much are you looking to redo the track up in Walker?
ballpark,
Without,
my estimate in doing it would be about 2.2 to 2.4 million. They want to add the 2 more lanes to make it an official or a regulation, an NCAA track or whatever. But that's my estimate. Some other people are saying it's cheaper, which I don't think so. It's not a stone dust track anymore. It used to be back, our day, yeah. But it's that rubber base. So, and I think part of the problem is when it was built originally, I think the concrete part got added, because there's no way tree roots will grow through concrete. They'll crack it, but it's literally down on I don't know if you want to say the backside, the fourth turn. It's terrible. It's like a mogul course. I mean, motorcycles would probably, it is all broke up and.
get you going when you go
Yeah.
around it.
and the soccer field's still pretty good, right?
Soccer field's good, soccer field's irrigated, don't think we'll have to do much. Depending on how we work the lanes, there's, maybe one on the outside, one to add 2 more. But, I'm not an architect, I can just, I called around. Suffield Academy did one a couple of years ago, but they did all AstroTurf and,
Fortunate.
yeah, but, and there's no drainage. I think that's the other part up there. They didn't put any drainage. They didn't put any under drains, no drainage in. So in the winter, when, we get a lot of rain, get frost heaves and so.
Okay, so now entertain a motion to adjourn.
Someone.
Everyone make a
I'll
motion?
second. Mm,
Oh. Dick? And the motion, and a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Yeah.
Motion passes.